Kriti Vishwaguru Brahma Chetayam Rishi Sattamam Dapare Vyasa Evasyat Kaluvatra Bhavamham. Shankara said, in the age of golden age, Sattva Yuga, Brahma, the creator, was the teacher. In the Treta Yuga, Vasishtha was the teacher. In Dwapara Yuga, Vyasa was the teacher. And this Kali Yuga, I am the teacher. What did he teach? He taught Vedanta. Without Shankara, it is very hard to imagine Vedanta. Why? There are three pillars, we call it tripod. The whole Vedanta philosophy stands. The first pillar is the Upanishad. The second pillar, Upanishad, is the revealed truth. Second pillar is the Bhagavad Gita, practical truth. And the third pillar is Brahma Sutra, the reasoned truth. So we teach Vedanta in the West, all over other in India also, but particularly in the West, we emphasize this Vedanta. Because it was Swami Vivekananda who brought the message of Vedanta to the West. He says, I have a message to the West, as Buddha had a message to the East. What was his message? Vedanta. Anyhow, from 1893, we are spreading this message of Vedanta, the ancient wisdom of the Hindu sages. Anyway, I shall not go into details. Today we are observing the birthday anniversary of Shankara. We are very lucky that we have a guest speaker today. Swami Shantivratananda is a monk of the Ramakrishna order. Now he is the head of the Ramakrishna Vedanta Center, Dublin, Ireland. The Swami joined the Ramakrishna order in 2004 in Halasuru and got his final vows in 2014. Ireland Center we started not a few years ago. He took over the responsibility of the center in 2021. Swami worked mostly in the South Indian centers, in Bangalore, Mysore. And he was awarded a doctorate from the University of Mysore for his thesis titled Swami Vivekananda's Concept of Man, an Analytical Study. Wonderful subject. Swami will speak on non-dual awareness in daily life, Shankara's message for modern seekers. Swami Shantivratananda. Please come. Finish by 12:30, 10:30, 11:30.
Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, please lead us from unreality to the reality, ignorance to the knowledge, and from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. My reverential pranams to Most Revered Swami Chetanji Maharaj, and loving pranams to Nishpapanji, Nirakaranji, and Shivarchanji, and love and best wishes from the Ireland, that is the birthplace of our dear lady, Sister Nivedita. We all know Sister Nivedita, how much she was one of the foremost disciples of Swami Vivekananda, and she dedicated her life. Nivedita, the word meaning of Nivedita itself is dedicated, the dedicated. She dedicated her life for Indian women education and for freedom movement and in the field of science, art, architecture and whatnot. Basically, she was the great lady who worked for the Indian regeneration. So, dear devotees, really I feel happy to speak of non-dual awareness in daily life. Probably I will be discussing this topic at 3 parts. First, very short introduction, probably I'll be giving the contribution of Adi Shankaracharya, one of the greatest philosophers of India, small. Then probably I will go into the philosophical portion of the Advaita Vedanta little, and major portion I will be discussing the practical aspects of this Advaita Vedanta or the non-dualistic philosophy. When Shankaracharya was born in India, though there was a monastic traditions or monasticism, it was never institutionalized. So Adi Shankaracharya is a person, Hindu monk, who institutionalized our Hindu monasticism, and he gave a very definite structure or approach. That is one of the biggest contribution for the monasticism part. And the second thing we all speak of, Master's message, harmony of religions. Adi Shankaracharya, in those days, he established the harmony of intra-religions. In the Hinduism itself, there were different paths. One is they were worshippers of the Surya, Lord Sun, and they were called Sauryas. And there were few people who were worshipping the Ganapati, and they were called Ganapatya. And they were worshippers of Lord Shiva, and for them Shiva was the supreme deity, and they are called Shaivas. And similarly with the Vishnu are called Vaishnava, and Durga they were called Shaktas. So some of them were trying to show that they are independent and their path or their ism is supreme. So Adi Shankaracharya, he clubbed all of them, and he beautifully created a path called Shadaitana. Like every Hindu worship all the 6 gods. At the same time, you can take one god as your chosen deity or a tutelary deity, and you can worship. So he brought a beautiful symphony and harmony among the Hinduism, among different paths. And not only that, he established monasteries at the different parts of India, mainly 4 monasteries in the 4 parts, east, north, west, south, and few other monasteries to establish the dharma, to preach the dharma. That is religion and code of conduct, ethics, morality and whatnot. And he is the first Acharya, that is the teacher, who established the system of philosophy or the school of philosophy for our Vedanta philosophy. We had the ancient philosophy, which is ancient than the Vedanta, is Sankhya and Patanjali Yoga, no doubt. But as a school of philosophy, as a system of philosophy, as a structural approach towards Vedanta was not there. Because if you see the Upanishads, they are mystical in approach most of the times. They don't have any structure in that way. So Adi Shankaracharya used 3, as Swamiji said, tripods, like one is Upanishads, the other is Bhagavad Gita, and the third is Brahma Sutra, as the Prasthanatraya, 3 paths to reach the truth. To understand the reality, he established and he gave a definite structure. And whoever writes commentaries on these three topics, then he is called Acharya. That's how anyone can establish the system of philosophy or school of philosophy. Then the non-dualism, qualified monoism or Dvaita dualism, and there are a few different schools of Vedanta came into existence after post-Shankara. They are all based on Shankara's approach, structural approach towards our Indian philosophy. And one more thing very interesting is he culled out Bhagavad Gita and also the Vishnu Sahasranama from the Mahabharata epic. It is one of the biggest history book in the world, Mahabharata, which has got 100,000 shlokas. Imagine each can be a very pillow, which we can use as a pillow for our sleeping. Definitely, when you see the book, oh my God, okay, we'll see later we'll say that. It is quite a huge book, no doubt. But there he beautifully culled out this Bhagavad Gita and Vishnu Sahasranam, and he gave to the people, whoever wants to follow the devotional path, take the Vishnu Sahasranam, and he gave his commentary, and who wants to follow the harmony of yogas or the philosophical approach or spiritual approach, for them Bhagavad Gita can be the beautiful practical manual. So he culled out both these two texts from the Mahabharata, and he made people to study independently. That is, these are the probably few contributions of Adi Shankara. Apart from that, in those days, there was no WhatsApp, there was no phone, and there were no vehicles. So he traveled all over India, complete India. He traveled all over India 3 times on foot, and he tried to establish the religion and the dharma or the philosophy, and he removed all the unnecessary practices which was in the name of religion or wrong ideas, superstitions or whatever you can say. All of them were removed by Adi Shankaracharya. In that way, he was a great missionary, great scholar, saint, mystic, and he was the experiencer of the truth. And today, coming to the non-dual awareness, I'll be taking a one shloka or a one dictum, Vedantic dictum. Based on that, my entire talk will be that. Probably some of you might have heard the Vedantic dictum of non-dualistic philosophy, Advaita Vedanta, is Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha Anena Vedyam Satchastramiti Vedanta Dindimaha. This is from Brahmagnana Vali Mala, one of the Advaita Vedanta text. So the meaning roughly goes like this. Brahman is the only reality. The world is an illusion, and there is no essential difference between individual self and the Supreme Self. This is to be known. This is the essence of the scriptures, and it is the proclamation of Vedanta. Vedanta means here Advaita Vedanta. So, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. The Brahman alone is the reality, and the world is an illusion. So, this is what we will be understand. Now, okay, Brahman alone is real and the world is an illusion. Okay, we have heard quite a few philosophers' outlook or essays. We might have heard a lot of lectures. What I am going to get by that? How I am going to get benefit? By knowing Advaita Vedanta. For example, I learn calculus and trigonometry, at least I will get a job. Or for example, I am good at economics, so probably I can make money, like Warren Buffett. He made a good money, isn't it? At his young age, at the age of 16 or 17, he lent money for his own father, for his business. So he was such a interesting fellow, Warren Buffett. So if you read economics, probably your bank balance can increase so that you can have a good travel across the world. Then by studying Advaita Vedanta, what does it happen? My Gurudev, Swami Ranganathanji used to tell, by studying Advaita Vedanta, what do you get? What happens? What you can expect? He beautifully, in a simple sentence, in a single sentence, he has given the entire essence of Advaita Vedanta. He tells, by studying the non-dualistic philosophy, you will travel from what to so what. By studying Advaita Vedanta, non-dualistic philosophy, you will travel from what to so what. The whole of philosophy has been beautifully embedded in these two words, what to, so what. Someone scolds me. Oh, can she use such abusing language for me? How can she do? So for us, that abusive language is so real. So that's why we are getting disturbed. We'll be reactive or whatever. Then if you ask Buddha or any philosopher, real philosopher, he say, so what? So the Satyatva Buddhi, the notion of reality, shifts from the world to the self, or from the matter to the spirit. This is what Advaita Vedanta makes us. So it will not ask to change the world. We are always busy in changing the world. Oh, if my parents, especially children things, youngsters, if my parents behave in such a way, I'll be more happy because we all love freedom. So my parents are asking, my freedom is at stake, so I expect something from my parents. Similarly, parents think, oh, we were in a different way, our children are not in the same way. I think they should change a bit. Then I will be happy. The parents think. Same thing with wife or husband, or maybe in the office atmosphere, in the neighbors or in the house itself. We always expect if the change happens in him or her, then I can be happy. I can be peaceful. The Vedanta says, stop thinking that, my dear, it never happens. It is a futile exercise. Then what you are supposed to do? You start change within. Start the change within, then the world will be beautiful and it will be very harmonious. That is what you can take up the message from traveling from what to so what. Then when you start accepting and when you start practicing, you will stop reacting and you will start responding. Again, these are psychological words. We react to the situations. We react to people. We react to difficulties or adverse circumstances. A lot of our mental energy gets drained out because we react. The moment when you put the Vedanta into practice, what happens? You will respond, you will not react. Probably I'll give a simple example, you will be able to understand how the difference between the reacting and the response. I mean, the story goes in the India age, maybe 2 or 3 centuries before. So there were 2 scholars who used to leave each other, like philosophers you can say, or the professors who used to, neighbors who used to live opposite to each other. They were very good friends. And one philosopher name was Shamabhatta, or you can say Sham. So other philosopher name was Ram, basically. Both were good friends. They used to talk each other, they used to dine each other, and they used to travel each other a lot. At some point of time, there was some issue. Both of them had a exchange of hot words, and both of them had a fat egos. Because of that, their relationship got screwed up, and they became a deadliest enemies. So in that whole village, everyone used to see and enjoy their quarrels. Because both of them were scholars, they had a wonderful choosy words. They used to quarrel each other with the choosy words, with using all their scholarly nature. Once, the Sham was called to give a sermon or to give a talk on Advaita Vedanta, non-dualistic philosophy. And he was giving a lecture, and it was so beautiful, very scholastic, and his eloquence was remarkable. All the people were really moved, and they were all admired by his eloquence and the scholastic nature. And while explaining, he had to quote a sloka like Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Whatever exists in this world or in this universe, in the creation, everything is Brahman. He was supposed to quote this. And while quoting, he remembered Ramavatta. He said, everything is Brahman, fine. But how Rama can be Brahman? He cannot be. He's such a rogue. So he's a Sanskrit Pandit. So immediately he said, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Ramabhattam Vina. So everyone is Brahman. Everything is Brahman in this world except Ramabhatta. Because why? He's my enemy. See, he was such a great philosopher, scholar. He was well versed in the scriptures, but he was failed to practice the Advaita Vedanta in his life. He was reacting. Many times we feel, oh, I'm going to monastery, I'm going to Vedanta center, I'm studying, I'm meditating and so many things, but why things are not happening or why there is no change? Because somewhere we have failed ourselves to put into practice probably. Or we are struggling, of course. So in the Shama, we can clearly see he was well versed in the scriptures, never mind, but he was unable to put into practice, he was unable to assimilate the Vedantic teachings in his life and in his practice. That's what we mean. We are busy in reacting. Instead of that, if you put into practice Vedantic knowledge, really, instead of reacting, you will start response. The contrary story which I can give is in the life of Buddha. Buddha, he was sitting on a tree and he gave a sermon on evening. So maybe few hundreds of his monastic disciples and few hundreds of lay disciples, all they were sitting and they were listening to the Buddha sermon. It was wonderful, everyone liked it. Then after the sermon, each person, either monk or a lay person, they were paying their respects to the Buddha and they were leaving. Probably half of the crowd has left. One fellow, suddenly he came out and he started scolding or rebuking Buddha using very foul language. So their disciples were getting really hot and they were getting really angry. If Buddha allows, probably they will hit him black and blue. But Buddha was composed, was silent. And this fellow continued to scold him with all abusive language and the foul words. 5 or 10 minutes over. And this fellow started getting anxiety and stress now. Because he's scolding Buddha and Buddha is keeping quiet and is not reacting. Then he stopped scolding and he asked the Buddha, Buddha, do you understand what I am saying? Buddha said, yes, my dear. Then I used such a foul language and all, you don't have any shame and you didn't react or you didn't scold me back or you no expression in your face or whatever. Why is it happening or how is it happening? Then Buddha said, my dear, you have got 5 rupees. Say you have got 5 rupees and you wish to give me. He said, okay. Then I said, no, thank you. No, sorry. I don't need your 5 rupees. So you wish to give 5 rupees for me and I don't like and I don't want to wish to receive, so I leave it. The 5 rupees will be with whom now? The fellow said, obviously it will be with me. Same thing with your scoldings. So I never received it. As a result, my mind is undisturbed. See, this is what the fundamental difference between reacting and responding. So Buddha never carried over by this foul language or someone's weakness or someone's ego and etc. Then afterwards, how is it possible you could attain this state? The fellow asked. Then he said, whatever you were scolding, it was something to do with his body and mind, etc. I am not touched by all these things. And Buddha gave a small pep talk for him. And his mind got changed and he asked pardon and he became one of the disciples of Buddha. So these are the circumstances or similar circumstances every one of us will be facing in our life at different places, at different circumstances or at different levels. But how do we react or how do we respond is in our hands. So when you study Advaita Vedanta and when you think about Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya, Brahman alone is real and the world is an illusion, if you really put into practice, then what happens? The world cannot disturb you. The people cannot disturb you. The situations cannot disturb you really. Until otherwise we allow ourselves, no one can disturb us. This is one of the greatest truth we can understand as a corollary of the truth. And the third is, we will stop changing the world and we will start changing ourselves. When you understand this, Brahman alone is real and the world is an illusory. And the fourth, probably according to me, is the dignity of the human being or the dignity of any being, dignity of person is well established if you put into practice the Advaita Vedanta. Now, when I say Brahma Satya, what does it mean? The Vedanta or the scriptures gives a very clear definition. What do we mean by truth? So anything has to be truth. It is called Trikala Abhadita Satya. It was there yesterday? Yes. Was it there 100 years before? Yes. Was it there million years before? Yes. Okay. At right now, is it there? Does it exist? Yes. Of tomorrow, will it exist? Yes. After 10 years? Yes. After 100 years? Yes. After millions of years, does it exist? Yes. So it was there, it is there, and it will be there. This is what truth or reality according to the Advaita Vedanta. For example, Swami Shantivratananda was there 50, 60 years before? No. Is Shantivratananda is there at right now? Yes. Tomorrow, maybe, and after some time, maybe or may not be. So the time is very limited. In the time gap is in that in between some events only, in the events between like birth and death, only Shantivratananda existing. Before or after, Shantivratananda doesn't exist. So in that way, Shantivratananda is not the real reality. So this is the definition for the reality when we say Satya or Brahman alone is real. Okay. Now, Jagat Mithya. The world is an illusion with the Vedanta is speaking. How to understand? So it can be understood in a two realm or in a two angles. One is Mithya means it is not eternal. It is a temporary or ephemeral in nature. For example, what about this world, the universe which we are seeing? Yes, it exists for us. It is very real. Probably it can be more real than Brahman for us at right now. Brahman exists or not, yeah, but the world is very real for us, no doubt. Yes, but say thousands years before or million years before, was it existing? No. Not in that form, at least no. It is there now, maybe after 10,000 years or after million years before, will this world exist? Probably may not. Because there is a lot of changes we have seen and we are going on seeing. So it's continuous change as Buddhism says. So this is unreal. This is the one meaning of the Mithya. The other meaning which is very important for Advaita Vedantins. So other meaning is whatever it is, you are not seeing as it is. For example, what it is, if you ask, everyone will say, oh, it is a pamphlet probably connected to Vedanta Center of Vedanta Society of St. Louis. Fine. So what do you say? It is a paper. Okay. I say, yeah, it is a paper for day-to-day transactions. We all accept it is a paper, no doubt. Then I ask you to go a little deeper. Okay. You say, how do you define it? You say that it is a piece of paper or it is a paper or whatever. Then I ask you to go a little deeper. Oh, this paper is manufactured by probably wood. A small piece of wood has been manufactured. So small piece of wood is manifested in this paper, or in this form. Fine. I ask you to go still more deep. So yeah, it was belonged to some tree. I will ask you to go still more deep. Then you will finally come with probably molecules, then atoms. Then now science has gone still more deeper. Then you will say protons, neutrons, electrons, photons and all. Then string theory, which probably some of you might know. So I ask you to go a little more deep. Then you will say in the proton or in the electron, basically, there are some other subatomic particles. And in that subatomic particles, there is called energy, which is continuously vibrating energy. That is what our string theory is saying today. So even for them, the wall, whatever we see, we experience at right now, it is nothing but, it is a mass, no doubt, but inside it is nothing but an energy. The energy is continuously vibrating, string theory. Similar philosophy we can see in the Spotanavada in the ancient India, which came thousands of years before. So finally, this paper, at least according to the present modern science, they end up with the saying that it is nothing but the mass of energy which has been arranged in a very close-knit manner. But my experience doesn't say that. Because when I see that, I'm able to see this is a piece of paper. Why? Because of my sense organ called eye. The eye has got a particular frequency. All we know that in that particular frequency only we can see. Before that we cannot see. After that also we cannot see. So through 5 sense organs of knowledge and mind, we are getting the knowledge of this world, no doubt. But at the same time, it is limiting our knowledge and it is giving the distorted image of the world actually. This is what we mean mithya. I am seeing this paper as paper, no doubt. For a transaction reality, we will all accept. But in reality, why we are thinking this as a paper? Because our eyes are giving a knowledge and our mind is processing it in a particular way and we have the knowledge. And probably if I show this for an animal, if I am able to understand their language, maybe like dog, they will tell in a different way. Why? Because their sense organs and their mind is processed in a different way. So all our knowledge is limited in nature because of our mind and the sense organs of knowledge. So that's where the Vedanta is saying that the Jagan Mithya is whatever the world is there no doubt, but however it is, we are not able to perceive as it is. Swami Vivekananda explains this beautifully in his Jnana Yoga lecture. There is called Brahman plus mind. The mind is colored by our own thinking, by our own thoughts, by our own emotions, by our own nature. And that's how we are seeing the Brahman plus your mind and your thoughts and emotions or whatever. This is what we call world actually. That's how the experience of the world many times, it can be different for different people. I mean, which makes a joke. Like when I was in Mysore, I was the only person who used to like chocolate ice cream. Everyone used to like either vanilla or butterscotch ice cream. So whenever any ice cream party we had in a monastery, they used to bring always, either vanilla or butterscotch. And I used to love always chocolate, and I was odd out. Finally, I had to convert myself into the either vanilla ice cream or a chocolate or a butterscotch ice cream. But one fine day I was thinking about this. Now someone is liking, for some vanilla ice cream is very favorite. For some butterscotch ice cream is very favorite, but I was all alone, no doubt. I was odd out there where chocolate ice cream was very favorite. Now ice cream is good for most of us, no doubt. Now vanilla ice cream is very tasty, someone say X, and YZ may say no, butterscotch ice cream is the best ice cream, it is beautiful, may say. Then AB say no. ABC may say, oh no, chocolate ice cream is the best. Now which is best? All of them or none of them? So the best and the happiness or whatever we are experiencing from the ice cream, it is in our mind, not in the ice cream. If it was in the ice cream, it would have been given for every one of us. Vanilla ice cream, the amount of ice cream for whoever likes, the amount of joy they get, and I don't get it. And similarly, the amount of joy I get when I get a chocolate ice cream with a blackcurrant, a soup or whatever, the other fellow will not get it. So I'm enjoying ice cream, for an example, and I'm thinking chocolate ice cream is so beautiful, so delicious, so nice. That is, again, I'm superimposing on that actually, on the ice cream. In the ice cream itself, it is neither good nor bad. It is neither joyful or not joyful. That's how we are superimposing the joy in the world and its worldly objects, and we are thinking that the world is joyful, our world is with full of sorrows. This great notion or this great understanding, this great theory has been given by Advaita Vedanta in this two-lettered word called mithya. So world is there in a particular form called Brahman, but because of your mind and because of your sense organs, you have got a particular impression, particular image or understanding of the world, which is not true. Okay, something calculative, something logical or mathematical, all fine. So sometimes it can go above the head also, this Vedanta. Now, by understanding what I am going to get again, traveling from what to so what. When you start practicing Advaita Vedanta, what happens? You will start you will switch over the importance from the world to the God or the self. Probably simple example, one more example I can give you, you will be able to understand better. When we are small, probably I've got a maybe younger brother or younger sister is a better example. I had a younger sister in my house, and father bought 2 toys. Same material, same size, same shape, everything is same except difference in color. One was black colored toy, the other was pink colored toy. Father bought 2 toys. Same material, same shape, same thing, like maybe a particular toy, but only difference was in color. Then father bought. Then I said, I like pink color toy. I will take pink color toy. And I took pink color toy. Then what was left out for my younger sister? Only black color toy. But she said, no. Mama, I like pink color. I want pink color toy. Okay. I said, no, I want pink color toy. Then mother said, oh my dear, she's your younger sister, she's a small, so it is better, my dear, give away. What is there? Either it is a black color tie or a pink color tie, toy is a tie, give away to your children, to your younger sister. No, always you do the same thing. Whatever you say, whenever is there such situation, she will always support my younger sister, my sister and not me. This is not fair. So probably I might start unhappy or crying or whatever. And she also and then mother said, poorly, okay, this time at least you leave to your brother. He wants pink color toys. He is asking it or is demanding for it. She started crying. And probably we had exchange of hot words, or mother scolded me or him or her or whatever. Some situation might have happened, and we finished. 25, 30 years over. Similar incident. Now, as both myself and my sister who have grown up of 30, 40 or 50 years, and we are seeing similar incident with the youngers, or with the other children or kid. When we see that, we laugh at it. We may say, oh, my dear boy, my dear girl, or my dear child, whether black color tie, pink color tie, doesn't matter, don't worry, you take any tie. The same way, however, we had behaved 30, 40 years before, the similar way, more or less, the children, the present day, children also behave, oh, no, pink color tie I only want, or black color tie I want. But now I don't feel much, the same importance 30 or 40 years before I gave for the tie, the same importance I don't give for either black color tie or pink color tie. Why? Because the notion of reality, I've understood what is the worth of tie and where I should give importance, for what I should give importance. So intellectual, not only physically I have grown, intellectually I have grown, my understanding about the reality has changed as a result. There might not be change in the tie, but my approach, my understanding, my notion of reality has been shifted, has been changed. That's why I don't get bothered, I don't get perturbed. But whereas the children, because they have not understood that, as a result, just like how we foolishly behaved, similar way even the children are behaving. The same thing with the world and its objects. The moment when we try to understand, when we can understand, and when we get convinced and we can put into practice, then what happens? The notion of reality shifts. This one's probably an interesting example of which I can give. I joined in Alsuru, Bangalore, the monastery. I had a great opportunity to serve quite a few senior monks. There one senior monk was there, Swami Kamalanandaji. He always used to say, I'm an experienced patient. Interesting word, he's an experienced patient. His BP was always abnormally normal. His sugar was abnormally normal, like 300, 400 his sugar level used to go. And his BP also used to be always on high. But he never bothered. He was always jovial. One day he had a severe, already had an angiogram and angioplasty. 3-4 years had over and he was quite old. And one day he had a severe chest pain. Then doctors were called. The doctor said, looks like it is not just because of acidity or whatever. It looks like there is some problem. So better we should take to hospital. So immediately we rushed to hospital, one of the best hospital in Bangalore we took, and tests were started, and I was asked to accompany Maharaj and to serve him. So 3 days in the same room, he is sleeping, and there is a small cot where I was also resting and taking care of him and all. 3 days over. And so many investigations they are doing and changing in tablets, medicines and all. After 3rd day, I asked him, Maharaj, how much ever we say we are monks and we are not bothered about the world and we don't care for our life and we welcome death and all fine, but as a human being, somewhere we may get a little anxious. We may get some anxiety or some stress or whatever. But in 3 days I was observing you. There was no anxious at all in you. As if just like you were staying in the monastery, in the same way you were staying in the hospital even. So there is no even mental change or a mood change or whatever in you. How is it possible? I am really perplexed. I am really astonished to observe this, note this. Then he said, yes, your observation is right. You know why it happened? Because in my life, during my spiritual practices when I was young, at some point of time in my spiritual practice, I had an experience. What was that experience? I was different from the body. I had an experience. It was momentary probably. I had an experience that I am not the body. I was different from the body, or rather, I am not the body, I have a body. So that momentary experience has given me tremendous strength, tremendous courage. So whatever it comes, I don't bother. So when he was going to the operation theater, there was a blood vomit. Quite a good amount of blood vomit was there. So doctors and nurses, they got panic because of this. And he was saying, don't worry, I'm an experienced patient, take on to the OT theater. And he was consoling the doctors and the nurses. He was consoling. It should be otherwise, isn't it? But he was doing that. See, as his utterances, just at some point of time, he had an understanding or he had an experience, I am not the body. That has given a tremendous courage. He had a fear over death. He had winning over fear of death, which is called abhinivesha. Abhinivesha is what? Fear of death in Sanskrit. So he had won over fear of death. So with quite a few monks and devotees, we can see that because of spiritual practices and by putting Vedanta into practice continuously, they might have achieved. This is what I mean, say, Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya. And one more thing is, we'll be always thinking happiness is somewhere externally always. When we were children, we all think if you get a chocolate, if you get a toy, if you get a bicycle, I'll be happy. Then you go little, then probably I'll have four-wheelers, or I want freedom. If I'm free, then I'll be happy. Then afterwards, then job, lucrative job, less work, more salary, and good office atmosphere, maybe. Then afterwards, good fiancé, afterwards good children, or maybe house, having a own house, then house in a good, maybe in a downtown or in a very secure place. So like that we keep on extending our wants, and we keep on thinking that my happiness is there. If I will be happy, I can be happy by getting a toy, by getting a bicycle, or maybe in this present day by getting an iPhone or iMac computer or whatnot. So my happiness always depends on some object or on some people. Maybe momentarily we all feel happy, we all experience happiness, never mind, but it is only time bound. The first day when I get a cell phone or an iPhone, I'll be very happy. Probably I may take photo and I share with my friends and a group, family people, and in WhatsApp status and whatnot. Second day, third day, fifth day, okay. 10th day afterwards, yeah, I've got a phone. The same joy, whatever I had experienced when I take a cell phone, for example, after 10 days, it is coming down. Same thing with any object, that's what we experience in the life. Again, we are superimposing the joy on the thing or an item, and we are thinking that by having that, by possessing an item or by possessing that particular object or a person, I will be happy. But no, it is not. The Vedanta says Brahma Satya. When you say Satya, also includes Chit and Ananda. The Brahman alone is I am that Brahman, and my real nature is what? Ananda, blissful form. But unfortunately, I am gone searching that Ananda in the external things and in the external people. We may get it, never mind, but it will be always limited. That's where Buddha gives a beautiful analysis for suffering. Why do we suffer in the world? For only two things. Because I think if he is there, she is there, it is there, I am happy. And when I don't get him or her or thing, I am unhappy. So because of the absence of an object or a person, I am suffering. That's one type of suffering. Most of us get it. The second type of suffering is because it is there, because he is there, she is there, I am suffering. So because of an absence of an object or a person, I am suffering, or because of the presence of an object or a person, I am suffering. So always suffering, I am putting, again superimposing on the objects, either the absence of object or the presence of an object. Buddha says, no, it is neither nor. It is only in your mind. The Buddha says it is in your mind, and the Vedanta tells very clearly that is of course wrong notion. Not only that, the source of happiness is in you only. So stop thinking, stop pursuing the happiness in the external world or in the external objects. Then what happens? Whether you have got a bank balance or not. Of course, we need money for our lifestyle, for our livelihood. Vedanta doesn't say that you should not go for acquiring money or getting salary and all. It doesn't say that. Definitely no. It only says that don't depend on that. Rather, don't think that just by having money, I can be happy at all times. No. So the external dependence is it is a limited, or it is a mixture of sorrows and mixture of happiness both. If you want the happiness alone, bliss alone, then it is in you. Try to understand and try to experience. That's what Advaita Vedanta is asking us to do, and that's why it is called Brahma Satya. So whether you are poor or a rich, whether you got a job or not, whether whatever the circumstances, whether it is adverse circumstances or favorable circumstances, we are always get possessed by these things, and we are always tossed between happiness and unhappiness, so much so. But when you start putting the Vedanta into practice, then what happens? You are getting disturbed. Your mind getting oscillation between these emotional upheavals will be keep on reducing. Why? because your dependence on the world gets reduced and your dependence on yourself or on the God, on the consciousness gets increased. This is what spiritual life is. In all the great science life, for example, I come from the Ireland, our national saint is Saint Patrick. If you will see the life of Saint Patrick, interestingly, when he was adolescent, he was kidnapped from the Vikings in those days. He was in the coastal area of the England, and he was just kidnapped and he was brought to the Ireland and he was pushed into slavery. So in the west coast of the Ireland, which is even rough weather now, in those days it was much rough weather. He had to stay in the valleys and with a very cold weather and cloudy, windy and always rainy. So such a harsh weather, he had to stay. And he has to take care of, like a shepherd boy, he has to take care of so many cattle and sheep and whatnot. So basically, there was no favorable circumstances, even little for him, not even 1 or 2% probably. In such a rough weather, he had to stay and with a very bare minimum living, either food or a clothing or whatever. But he used that adverse opportunity as a favorable circumstances. What? Because no one is there to disturb me. He started doing prayers. He started doing prayer one time. Then slowly he increased for 2, 5, 10, 15, 20. As per his biography, it goes that every day for 100 times he used to do intense prayer. So in 10, 15, 20 years, he had become a saint. Then one fine day, he had a wonderful dream. Their angel appeared. Angel appeared and said, okay, you go to such and such a place, there will be a boat for you, there will be few travelers, among them you will be also one traveler, you go to the boat and you will be able to reach your house. So he had a wonderful vision or a dream where the angel appeared and she said, and he was very happy and he was able to escape, and for 200 or 300 kilometers across the valley he had to walk, and finally he went, there was a boat and there were a few travelers. He was very happy and he was about to go into the boat and money was asked. St. Patrick said, sorry, I don't have any money. Then the owner of the boat said, then sorry, goodbye. You can't be taken then because you don't have money. He was so much, again, he was a bit unhappy, but he started again praying, oh God, you made me to come here and now I don't have any other way. Please bless me, please save me. He started doing prayer. Interestingly, 1 or 2 co-travelers, they felt compassion towards him and they prayed for him. Finally, St. Patrick, as a youngster, he was able to get into the boat and he went back and he joined the family. They were all very happy. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks he was there with their parents and all. Afterwards, his inner conscience started feeling that I don't belong to this place. And I've got some mission to do something. Then again, he went deeply into prayers. Then finally, for Germany, he went there and he got a training and all. Then he was sent to Ireland to preach the Christianity and all. That's how he preached the Christianity. And he was one of the core person who taught the Gaelic Christianity, which is different from the normal Catholic Christianity and all. And so much so that happened in the Middle Ages, from the Ireland, they were able to supply the monks for the entire Europe. It was known as a Catholic rich country and the monastic country and the monks country. All this happened from one person, Saint Patrick. And what was his life? You see, such a unfavorable, challenging situation he had, but he won over. He transferred, the adverse circumstances are a challenges or a problem, whatever you say, into favorable circumstances. He used all that rough weather as a solitude. So this is what, when you take a spiritual outlook for our problems or for our day-to-day life problems, either at physical level or intellectual level or emotional level or whatever, you will be able to convert them into favorable circumstances. That's what I mean. Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. Most of you know this. You might have heard a couple of times. So we should keep on thinking about it and what are the practical aspects and how we can implement, and by implementing what we can achieve. You will be able to travel from what to so what. Thank you.
Thanks Swami Shantivratananda for his wonderful talk on Vedanta. He explained very well. Only a couple of things I want to add. He mentioned mitha, means not real. This word is not real. But Shankara believed and made. The Vyavaharik Satta is real, but not absolutely real. She explained very well that what is real. Trikalo avaditattam nitattam. The thing which exists in the past, present and future, that alone is real. There is nothing in this world. First thing. But my headache is real. My stomach is real. I cannot deny it. We cannot deny it. My hunger is real. We cannot deny it. Vedanta says, but that real is not absolutely real. Relative reality. That is the reason Brihadaranyaka Upanishad used two words. Satyasya Satyam. It is the truth of the truth. That's Brahman. Absolute reality. Absolute reality. Relative reality, absolute reality. Anyhow, I shall not go into details. When he was talking, I was thinking about our friend. He was a monk. He used to practice Ajatavad. I am not born. One day his mother came to see him in the monastery. She was sitting in the living room. So our another friend told him, go, tell that woman, who are you, woman? Because you practice that I am not born, so you are not born. So now go tell your mother that who are you, woman? And we laughed. And another Swami, I remember, told a very funny story. This world is not born, but it has a power to bind us. How? A man went to town for a job and he could not come. So he had a young daughter. She was sleeping alone in her room. Meanwhile, a thief entered at the hours of night, and this girl immediately understood that somebody was in the room. So she was pretending. You know, I am grown up, my father is not arranging my marriage. Well, one day I shall get married and I must have 3 children. I must have 3 sons. Ram, Sham and Chor. Rama, Shama, Chor means thief. So I shall keep 3 names of my 3 sons. And they will go for playing outside, and in the evening I shall shout. But, O Rama, O Shama, O Chor, please come, dinner is ready. So Ram and Sham are her neighbors. And they got up from sleep, hearing the shout, help from this girl. Well, Ram and Sham, they immediately rushed to her home and caught the thief. Thief was standing there. Then the thief was thinking, how come? This girl is not married, she has no son, but these 2 persons came and caught me. Very funny story. This word, to the knower of Brahman, the world is not there. Everything is Brahman. But to us, we'll have to discriminate what is real, what is unreal. Anyhow, I shall not go into details. Anyhow, thank you, brother, for giving a nice talk to our devotees and to this that Shankara's birth anniversary service.